Hey guys, thanks for stopping by my channel. Today's video, we're going to be checking out some of the pages that I did for the months of August and September. I really didn't finish too many pages in August, so I kind of let me hold it over till September. Some things I didn't finish, or I ripped them up and threw them out. I was having kind of a rough August for the most part. I was kind of not in the right frame of mind for coloring. I was getting very frustrated with everything I was doing. Nothing was coming out. I'm sure you guys have all been there before. So we're going to get started showing you what I have. I'm going to show you some of my unfinished things too. So let's see. The first thing I'm going to show you is this one. I just finished this page and I did a speed coloring probably right before this video. I have it up. And this page was really super fun for me to do. This was a speed color I did to a song from The Little Mermaid. This just really gave me Little Mermaid vibes. I do like coloring mermaids quite a bit. So, and that Little Mermaid movie kind of has been on my mind because they're coming out with the new live action version. And I've been hearing a lot about it in the news. So I was like, oh, this would be so much fun to add that song that Ursula sings to Ariel before she steals her voice. I would like to do more of those kind of videos. I can't monetize them because it's copyrighted music, but what am I losing out on, like 25 cents? So I do think I'm going to do some more. I have some pages in mind and songs that I think would go really good together. So hopefully I'll get a chance to do another one for the month of October. Maybe I could find something like Halloween spooky or something. But yeah, I ended up adding some more stickles to this one than I showed in the video. I don't know, for some reason I wasn't really happy with these jellyfish. I ended up putting some more purple. I had kind of did them a brown color. I put on some more purple watercolors, and then I was still not really feeling them too much, so I ended up adding a bunch of stickles, and I used alcohol in an atomizer sprayer and some salt. Oh, and then I just put a little frame of washi tape around it. I do have this glued onto a piece of watercolor paper, and I put gesso over it just so I would be able to apply like a super large amount of water on the background so it didn't get messed up. I do have a flip through of this book. This is by Remy Pastel. Did I mention that? I don't remember. But yeah, so I have the other two. She has 3 altogether, and then she just recently started an Etsy page too, so you can just buy the images directly as PDFs without having to buy the books. I think she sells them in like little 4-pack bundles of different images, but they're all from, I think, all 3 of her books. So I know she had mentioned that I think people really like the images, but they're not too happy with the Amazon printed paper, which this one surprisingly is not that bad. I have seen worse, a lot worse, but the other 2 that I have in the series are not as nicely they are not as nice as this one is printed. So it is very hit or miss. I'm sure, as many of you know, with the Amazon printed books. So I like to buy them and make copies myself. So, okay, so next page that I have completed is this one from Gracia Salvo's Wild Soul coloring book. This is the artist edition. She does have it available in paperback over on Amazon. If you want to get it, it's a little bit, I think it's a lot bit cheaper if you get it from Amazon. But this is, I bought this before it was on Amazon, I think. But I think this might be like the 3rd printing of this, maybe, or the 3rd edition, or 2nd or 3rd edition. She's reprinted it a few times. But I've always been like really scared to color in it. I didn't want to mess up the book because it's such a nice book, and The paper is really nice. So I was really nervous about ever coloring in this book since I had it. And I don't know, for some reason when the book is hardcover, I feel more scared to color in it. But I picked this page out and I was like, let me color in this book finally. I don't want to print it out because my printer kind of stinks. A lot of times when I print anything that's grayscale, the ink will rub off on my paper and it's like a big disaster and I get mad and I usually rip it up and throw it out. But I said, I have this nice book. It's got nice paper. Why don't you just color in it and stop being such a scaredy cat? So I picked this one out because I thought it looked like the most easy one to color. So I'm not the best for coloring animals. And I was like, oh, it's kind of like just coloring a cat, basically. Like all of these are either more grayscaled and a little bit more detailed. But I thought this one seemed a little bit more simple and easier for me to tackle. So I think, what did I color? What did I use with this? It was one that I had done in August. It was like one of the only things I finished in August, but I know I did like a mixture of Prismacolors. I broke out my Caran d'Ache portrait set that I had never used before, and Holbein's. I did kind of like a mixture of those for her face. Her hair, I'm pretty sure I just did Prismacolors. Her jacket, I think I did a layer of marker. Did some alcohol marker for her jacket, and then I colored on top, I think, with Prismacolors. And for this leopard, what did I do? I might have colored that with markers too, and then went on top of it with Prismacolors. I didn't really do too much with this leopard. I think I just colored him in, and then his little spots, I did little, like hash, is that what you call it? Little, I don't know, whatever you call it, little lines for where the spots are, so it could kind of look like fur. And the background, I put chalk pastels, trying to make it look a little bit like sunset-esque too. But I like how it came out. I like her hair. I think I had followed a hair tutorial that Karen Valentine did. And I think I just maybe used some different colored pencils. So that's it for that one. This next page is, we had done a challenge over in the Coloring Divas. One of our members had mentioned that it was Left-Handers Day, I think. Yeah, I am left-handed, so of course I knew it was Lefty Day. So I think we had gone into a discussion about coloring with the opposite hand, your non-dominant hand. And I was like, oh, that would be a really cool challenge. I know it's been done before. I think I've seen it a lot on YouTube, but I just did a little like mini challenge event in the Coloring Divas group, and this is what I did. This is from Coco Wyo Beauties. I printed it out. I didn't even print it out on cardstock paper. I think I printed it out on just regular printer paper, which wasn't on purpose. I think that was just what was in my printer, and I was like, oh well. And I colored this with my right hand. I am a lefty. It was like really, like once I got the hang of it, it kind of wasn't so bad. I did alcohol markers, and then I went over, I think I did alcohol markers for this part. That's how I always have to remember. You can see those are the things that I did, alcohol markers. I think everything except for her skin. I don't remember at all what I did with her skin. Probably Starjoy Golds, I would assume. That's what I use the most, but you can kind of, like, it looks good from far away, but if you look really close, you could kind of see. I was having a little bit control issues with the pencils. The markers were a lot easier for me than coloring with pencils. I just went out of the lines a little bit with the markers, you can see. But that was a fun thing we did. If you'd like to join us over in the Coloring Divas, I always have the link to the Facebook group down below in the description box if you want to check us out, if you want to join. Like, I usually have an event for the month, and right now we've been doing color palette challenges. This month I chose 4 because I couldn't decide on only 2, but I have 4 different color palettes. I'll probably post them up in my community tab too. Maybe after this video I'll add them. This one is a picture I colored. It was when I did my Ask Me Anything video. And it was so happened that it kind of coincided with my 1 year YouTube anniversary. So, and I did kind of figure this was kind of like, even though it's a clown, it's kind of like looked like birthday party-esque. So I thought it would be a cute page to color. I did it with alcohol markers, the whole thing. This is from the PDF book by Amandine Jung, and this is her PDF book pinups. You can get this from her Etsy shop, and I don't know if you could order, I think maybe you can order the physical book from Etsy too, but I know she has a regular website too you can order it from. But she is based in France, so you're going to have to pay a lot for shipping. That's why I kind of chose the PDF version for myself. This one I did in September too. This one I'm really happy with how this one came out. I did spend a lot of time on this one. I spent a few days coloring her skin. I used my Black Widow pencils that I hadn't been using so much for quite a while. I didn't know how to color a seashell, and I was looking for tutorials all over the place. I couldn't find anything that really fit what I was looking for. So I was kind of proud of myself that I was able to somewhat figure it out, and I did her background, like kind of a rainbow-esque background. I did put stickles, of course. I can't do anything without adding at least a little bit of stickles, but I did the background in Prismacolors. Everything else was Black Widows. And, oh, except for I think I did colored her rings. And I did kind of like a light little shading on these pearls too. And this, I colored this in black with black alcohol marker. And it came out, I thought it was going to be streaky, because I wasn't really able to color it. You know, when you're doing alcohol marker, you gotta act kind of fast. I did it with an Ohuhu marker, and it came out pretty good, not too streaky. So I do have a video coloring the shell, like a quick little, it's like 15 minutes. It did take me like maybe like a week or more to do it. Let me see what else. Oh, this page, it's not technically finished. I'm going to call it finished, though, for my purposes. I had gotten the Morandi Indra pencils, and if you know me, I'm obsessed with everything Morandi lately, the color scheme of like the midtones and then gray tones, advanced grays, whatever you want to call them. I do have a playlist up of all Morandi colored art supplies. I have a few videos where I just put together that were like muted or fit into that category, if you want to check that out. And yeah, so I tested them out on this girl, and it's only 36 pencils, and it wasn't that wide of a range of colors that I thought I could keep going with the rest of these girls to be like totally different. And I think like there's only like 3 colors that were kind of like similar to each other that I could kind of gradiate into each other. That's what I used for her leotard. There's like a purplish gray colors that kind of all went together. All the rest of them didn't really go, except for like there's some skin tones. But for the most part, I think these are a really great set to like work into another like bigger set that you have. I think they would work out really good with the Black Widows. That's what I did on this girl here. I do have my notebook there where I wrote down all the colors that I had used. I'm not going to go through it because I know you guys are going to be like falling asleep, but I was thinking these were like a hard kind of a pencil, like a harder than I'm used to kind of pencil. But then I tested them out next to the Black Widows, and the Black Widows are, to me, a harder pencil than the Indras. And then I did this third girl with Crayola pencils, and those were even harder than the Black Widows. So it's all kind of like perspective of, like sometimes people say, oh, this pencil is really soft and this pencil is hard, but it's like you kind of got to think in comparison to what. Maybe you haven't tried one kind of pencil, so you've only got another kind of pencil to compare it to. So it's all relative. We all have tried different things. We all have different opinions on things. So I always like to advise whenever you see a YouTube video, you see somebody testing it, you see somebody giving a review, you have to kind of keep that in the back of your mind. Well, maybe this person's experience is different than mine, and maybe they've tried more pencils than I have, or maybe they haven't tried as many pencils as I have. So there's perspective on what the pencil is like in their mind. It might be different to you. But for me, in my opinion, I had the hardest time with the Crayolas. I didn't enjoy coloring this leotard at all with them. I didn't have a good, they didn't really work out so great for me. But maybe I might have been impatient at this point. This was the last one I did, and maybe I wanted to finish up with it. But yeah, so this was the first time I broke out my Black Widows in a long time. That's what kind of inspired me to use them on that page from Mysteria. I actually even used the same colors I did for this girl. Believe it or not, even though they don't look at all the same, I had intended on trying to make her skin as dark as this color. And since I guess it's like a bigger face, it didn't really work out that way. Even though I did add some more, end up adding some more darker pencils for the shadows. Let me see, middle, oh, this is middle girl here. Yeah, so I used the same colors that I used on these two faces here, and they ended up looking a lot different. Maybe I used them in different orders, or maybe I used more of some other color. I don't know. I can never really ever do anything the same twice. So even though I wrote this down, it didn't come out the same. I don't think I'm gonna end up doing the background. I'm kind of like over it at this point. I did buy the PDF version. Oops, that's my notebook. With the intentions of, I wanted to try out 3 more colored pencils. I was going to do Artix, Prismacolors, and Amazon Basics and compare those together. So I started doing it and I didn't like how it was working out. So I ended up ripping it up and throwing it out. But I do want to go back and try it. I'd like to do like little kind of like brackets of different colored pencils. All right, this page, I did a speed color. Was it in September? Was it August? Maybe it might have been the beginning of August, but I do have this as a video as well, as a speed color. And it was like a super long speed color too. I did 2 versions, like one, like a short, like 5-minute one. And then I did one for like, it's almost like 40 minutes. I know people probably don't want to watch for 40 minutes, but I just did it anyway. I put it up anyway. So a lot of people do ask me how I color skin. So I wanted to do one where you can kind of see the whole process. And I think I did add the colors that I was using as I was coloring. And I did this with Starjoy Gold pencils. I was going to do a second part to the video where I did the hair, but I really think that would be like too long. What pens? I'm using Brute Funner 520s. Those are one of my favorites to use. And yeah, so her hair is like all throughout this whole, like hair strands like are all throughout this whole, oops, am I not even in frame here? I can't really see my camera. All throughout this whole page is her hair strands are like spread out because she's like underwater, I guess. And there's all these succulents to color. So hopefully by maybe Christmas time, I'll have this finished. But I get inspired to do other things. So this has been kind of pushed to the side. And finally, I'm just going to show you this one. It's not an actual colored page, but I did test out some gouache paints from the company Chocola had sent to me to do a review. I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. I really had a good time. I'd like to be able to do a little bit more advanced stuff in the future. I want to try some more brands of gouache to see what the differences are. There's some I want to try, maybe some jelly gouaches. I've seen those a lot. I did end up putting a sticker over this boon that I made. That's pretty much the only thing that I wasn't too happy about. I made a humongous moon. I had tried to make a small one, like a little crescent moon, and it just kept snowballing into like a big giant moon. And oh well, next time we'll see if we can do a better job. So that's all I have for you guys today for my colored pages. I do have to do my book haul for September, and I do want to do a supply haul. I didn't do one for August either. So I'm going to do August, September. It's a lot of stuff. I might not show you every single thing that I got because I either forgot about it already or I did a video on it and I don't really feel like I need to show it to you again. But we'll see. I hope you guys all have a really great day. Happy coloring, and I'll see you next time.